Hello and welcome to Next Phase, where we examine the intersection of health and technology and talk about the future of our health system. Today, I'm delighted to welcome a friend and colleague, Dr. David Dembo. How are you, David?
Simon, good, very good, and thanks for having me on this.
Yeah, look, David and I worked together at Microsoft many years ago, but you'll detect a South African accent. David is a fully qualified medical practitioner. He worked for a number of years over there, but his illustrious career in healthcare IT over the last 25 years has taken him around the world, living in many different countries and working for many large companies, including Microsoft. You've worked at IBM, you've worked at Merck Sharp and Dame, you've held senior roles in GE Healthcare, and you ran Orion's Australian health business.
Yep, I've had incredible opportunities to work for very smart companies with smart people, attempting to help the health system digitize and improve quality and safety and evolve.
Fantastic. That gives you an incredible view from the bridge. So I look forward to unpacking that. Before we do, just to get a bit of an insight into who's Dave and what makes you tick, is there something you'd like to share from your recent search history that's insightful about who you are?
Well, my search history actually is quite bland, I think. So I that would point to me not being such an interesting person. I am in the process of selling one of my motorbikes, which is a passion for me. So quite a bit of my search history has been researching appropriate price and seeing what I can get for one of my bikes.
Not much motorbiking going on during this crazy COVID period?
No, it's all fantasy motorbiking. I can't wait to get back out there into the hills. It's one of the things I've been looking forward to most.
Fantastic. Motorbiking, is that just a form of transport for you, or is that more of a form of leisure and entertainment?
No, it's for me, it's my yoga. I don't have the constitution to sit still and meditate, and I find that when I ride, I usually only ride on a Sunday with a group of friends, but I find that it has me uni-focused on a single thing. When you're on a bike, you're only thinking about one thing, the road in front of you. And so you get this period where you disconnect from the rest of the world and take yourself into a new zone. And by the time you come back, you're completely refreshed and ready for the week. It's a brilliant pastime for those that have the constitution to hang on to a machine without roof and windows.
Oh, fantastic, Dave. Nice to have this opportunity to connect and learn something about you that I didn't previously. Thanks for sharing. So, motorbiking aside, this COVID time is a particularly interesting period. Interested in your view, given that view from the bridge that you've got of the state of digital in our health system, how it is, if you see it with any gaps that have been particularly uncovered at this stage, and how you see it changing. Your thoughts?
So, you know, the COVID crisis has been a catastrophe for the world, and particularly for families that have lost loved ones. But there is going to be upside, and the upside is a acceleration of a few things, including a realization in the health system that we're a data science, and the way you improve quality and safety and pivot the mechanism of healthcare from a reactive science to a preemptive and holistic sciences by data. It's the aggregation and interrogation of data sets that allow you to preempt and intervene early. So what we've seen in the COVID, in most countries through the COVID response, is a thirst for data and knowledge and insights, whether that's in the discovery or just in the policy and tracking framework. So I think we'll come out of this COVID period with more investment, not just in systems, but in trying to extract the data from it and liberate it and pool it in a way that it can be meaningfully interrogated and shared with those that have appropriate access rights to that level of insight.
I think the key word there is meaningful, isn't it? Because here in health, sometimes it feels like we're drowning in data, but that data is not always structured in such a way that it's information or knowledge, right?
Right. Well, you only drown in data when you don't have the right kind of systems in place to make sense of it. And until you do that, then all you do have is, large data sets. To get to knowledge, you do have to look at other sectors that have done a brilliant job of big data and understanding how you take those data sets and normalize them and mash them together and start to interrogate them in a meaningful way. But they've done a great job, other sectors, of democratizing data. They've found ways to tap into the collective smarts of a bunch of bright people, giving them access to these data sets and seeing the value that can be generated that way. And I think that health has to do this. There's so many smart people in the health system that are disconnected from the large data sets, and they still have to go through data teams and reporting teams to get extracts of health system data sets. There are technologies already around that can protect privacy and within access right privileges, democratize access, and I think that's something that I'd like to see accelerate.
Yeah, excellent. I think this is going to lead into the next question, which is there something you think in the world of digital and where digital meets health that is underrated? Would it be data science?
I think it's artificial intelligence and data science. They're kind of two ends of a similar spectrum. We are a data science if you look at the volume of data that's generated in health, and finally, whether that's through the penetration of EMR or the large data sets produced in genomics and digital modalities. We've got incredibly large data sets that play well into the design principle of AI and data science. Computers are very good at digesting large volumes of data and teasing out trends. They're better than humans. It's a great use case for AI. And I think what we have mostly in ignorance, and I don't mean that in the negative sense, we're still discovering the power of this technology, is we haven't really embraced it properly. It's a tool of the trade that could uncover incredible clinical and whether that's efficacy or efficiency insights, or the commercial side of healthcare trying to find more efficient ways of doing things. This is exactly what that technology was designed for, and we are seeing experimentation with it, but it seems to be in pockets. What we need to do is see it more pervasively used as another tool of the trade, another tool in the arsenal of a clinician to be able to interrogate data sets and look at precedents and try and predict the future before making decisions.
On the flip side, so if that's what's underrated, is there something you think that's overrated at the moment?
I don't think I've got an intelligent answer for that. I thought about it. I think because we have a little bit of a lag, well, not a little bit of a lag, we've got a significant lag in healthcare from a data sense, between our sector and other sectors. We're still kind of playing catch up, so it's not a case of what's underrated. Maybe it's things that we haven't tested well enough yet because we're still playing catch up.
Is there something that, if you could wave your magic wand and change anything about the state of our health system, what would it be today?
Oh, I design a completely different health system. We inherit the wrong system, and understand why it was created to look after the destitute and those already ill. But if you could build the health systems from scratch, you'd get the balance right between prevention and looking after those that are already ill. The most efficient way of dealing with any crisis is to preempt it. Once you're in crisis, it becomes expensive and the outcomes are poor. If you can intervene early in any system, you get much more efficient utilization of resources, and for many people you would actually prevent or delay the onset of illness.
Final question. Lots of people are interested in what the new normal might look like after COVID. Is there a meaningful change that you see coming out of all this that will be lasting and enduring?
Yes. What COVID has done is it's moved a whole lot more of our interaction online. And I think that's a brilliant thing for medicine. I don't see the value, or almost every patient, other than the lonely, would testify that there's no utility sitting in a doctor's waiting room. That's a disrespectful use of those that we serve's time. I think what we will see, and hopefully the funding for it will remain, is increased utilization of telemedicine services.
Yeah, we can only hope, can't we? Well, it remains to be seen, but Dave, thank you for jumping on, sharing your thoughts. Really appreciate it, and I know all the listeners will as well. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.